Hi guys, so today I'm gonna try to show you a carrier harass build in PVZ. I know I always come up with these PVZ builds, but I feel like it's the matchup that allows for the more variety, so that's kind of why I have so many PVZs. Anyway, this is gonna be like a carrier harass build. It's gonna transition straight away into Chargelots. So if the Zerg overcommits on Corruptors, we just win the game. But I'm gonna show you how to respond depending on what we see from the Zerg. So now we do our standard opening, gateway scout, we scout for a 12 pool. That's usually what I look for. Then I just go back home. Do our standard 20 Nexus, 20 Cyber, 21 Gas, and then 22 Pylon. That's the standard opening right there. I always open with a Stalker because I feel like the Stalker is a bit safer because it's sturdier versus Bailey busts. So that's why I prefer opening Stalkers, and sometimes you can also catch an Overlord if the Zerg overextends into your base with the first one, you know. And right now, as soon as the Cybercore is ready, you make the Stalker, then you cut Warp Gate, and you make a faster Stargate. So after you make the Stalker, the next gas is gonna be to the Stargate, and then you can start Warp Gate. So we have a fast Oracle because we want to open with Oracle. And now we just close the wall. As soon as we have the money, we keep making probes, guys. Don't cut probes. Because I see many of your replays, and you really like to cut probes. You don't want to do that. So we make probes, and when we have the money, we close the wall, and we make a battery. That's it. Now as soon as the Stargate is ready, we make an Oracle. Chrono boost the Oracle. We're also getting ready to get the third and fourth gas around 3:30. Because obviously we're gonna go double carrier, so it's a very gas intense build. We need the double gas. Now we make a Phoenix and Pylon. Make sure you don't get supply block here. Chrono boost the Phoenix as well and go start clearing the Overlords. If you can hide this build, it's much better. But sometimes they just go for Overlord speed and they see it anyway. But it doesn't matter because they can still make mistakes. So we try to go in with the Oracle, we see what happens. Usual scout, maybe killing some drones. But the point of this Oracle is just doing this fast scout and then go to defend the third base. Also, this is a pretty good move, guys. If you see you can't get any damage done with the beam, you can just put the stasis ward. And sometimes you can catch a lot of drones if the Zerg is not paying attention. But, sorry, let's go back a little bit. I was focusing too much on the Oracle. Okay. Now around 4:10, 4:15, it's when you're gonna have the money to get Stargate and a Fleet Beacon. And now we're just gonna wait for our carriers. So make sure you have 70 supply. You have enough pylons for 70 supply before you start making the carriers. Because 2 carriers are gonna take 12 supply. And you don't wanna get supply block. Because if you get supply block while building your first 2 carriers, it's gonna be a very bad time. Since your build relies on that timing, you know. Now you can also warp in 2 zealots and start going to take the third base. We want to make the carriers first. So we have the Oracle in defense. We have the zealots. Now we start the 2 carriers. It would be ideal if we could chrono boost them for the whole duration. Sadly, I don't have enough chrono boost for the second one because I messed up. But you want to make sure that you have enough chrono for them both. Now we start with the Pylon here, otherwise we get supply blocked, and then we get the Nexus. Now where is my Phoenix? So the Phoenix, once you kill the Overlords, you can leave it like in a spot where you see the Zerg army. So sometimes it's better to just leave it patrol in the middle. So if the Zerg is gonna move out, you will see it. Right, make sure we make like another 2 Pylon at least, because you wanna make another 2 carriers after these ones. And while these carriers are building, you can transition into Twilight, because you're gonna go for a fast charge. Make sure you chrono boost your carriers, you keep making probes. Also make a battery at the third base. It's much easier to defend with that. Defend these annoying links. And now, as soon as the carriers are ready, you go. You just go across the map. You can also get your Phoenix, so the Phoenix can lift the Queens, and that's very important as well. Since it's probably gonna be the only defense that the Zerg is gonna have for the first 2 carriers. And also make sure that you always focus fire. Make sure that these 2 carriers always focus fire 1 queen. It's important that you focus fire, actually it's ideal that you focus fire the queens with more energy. So that, you know, the queens with the most energy cannot transfuse itself. so it's most likely it's the best target. So you focus fire the queens. Also, while doing this, guys, while you're doing this push, don't get distracted, because I know while you guys are doing this, you're gonna bank 1500 minerals. So what you wanna do is, while doing this, you focus fire, sure, but you wanna make sure that you also macro a little bit at home. So keep making probes, not like I'm doing right now. Usually you wanna keep making probes, yeah, like this. And also you wanna make more gateways, because you're gonna have a charge follow-up, of course. So keep macroing, guys, don't get too distracted. And obviously the next 2 carriers are coming as well. So we're gonna try to push with these 2 carriers as well. So we go with 4 carriers. But you always have to be careful of what you see. So obviously keep focus firing the queen and the spores. And at some point now, you should see what the zerg has. So it could come with corruptors, or in this case, it's gonna come with hydras. And at this point, it's when you should retreat. Here I try to stay a bit longer because I thought I could kill the hydras, especially with my reinforcements coming soon. But I underestimated this number, so I lose 1 carrier. So if you see corruptors, so now these are the 2 options, right? If you see corruptors, you recall immediately the 2 carriers, and you get the 2 carriers at home. The 3rd and 4th carriers, you're gonna rally back home. And then you just stop carrier production, and you just go mass Chargelot Archon. And then you're gonna prepare for a big push. And if you overcommitted on corruptors, you're just gonna kill him. In this case, it's going hydras, right? So if it's going hydras, you can keep building carriers. You can get a 5th and a 6th, that's fine. Because carriers are decent versus hydras, if you have a strong ground support. So here's doing a stupid roach push, but we just defend. Also want to make sure we go Templars. Obviously we need Archons as well. We're getting more gateways. Ideally we'll go up to 10, but here I only go up to 8 because I miscount the situation. I'm also preparing for the next stage of the game if I don't win with this push. So I'm getting a 4th base, and I'm also getting a forge. So you don't need to go all in with this, but it's a very, very strong push that can do a lot of damage. So right now we're going. You gotta make sure that your units fight together, because you're gonna see soon that the interceptors are gonna go on the hatchery, the Archons are gonna attack the hatchery. You gotta make sure your army is together, The zealots are going too far, the interceptors are on the extractor, on the queens. So you gotta make sure your army is always together. Focus fire the hydras with the carriers if you have to. Here I'm kinda messing up my micro, I should really focus the hydras, but it doesn't really have enough. So you keep reinforcing with zealots. I'm also transitioning into storm in case something doesn't work. But this push is doing its damage. Obviously, if you see you can't win the fight, you at least should try to save the carriers. So if you can't win the fight, you leave the zealots going while they tank the damage, while you retreat for the carriers and then recall. Make sure when you recall the carriers that you kind of stack them together by clicking on the same spot. So air units are very easy to recall because they stack together. So if you click on the same spot, you can just recall them all. Now the Zerg just dies here. And imagine if you went Corruptors, it would have been even better. You would have had only 4 carriers. And then you just have more Templars and Archon. And if you overcommitted on Corruptors, it's very easy to win. So this build is kind of like a trick build, right? You want to trick the Zerg into making the wrong decisions, into making the wrong units, because he has to decide what he wants to defend, like carriers, and if he's gonna misjudge the situation, it's a very easy win. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this build. I'm gonna come back, I think, with the PvP build next, so stay tuned for that. If you want to check my Discord, link in the description below. I always say check your replays. So if you want to try this build and you find some problems, you can always share the replay with me and we can find the mistakes. Subscribe if you like the content, and see you in the next one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Okay guys, here you can just listen to the build order while you're trying to do this build yourself. So we make the first probe, send one probe to the natural, and make a 14 pylon at the wall. Wait for your probe until you can make the gateway. Make a 16 gateway. Chrono boost the probes. Go scout with your probe. Make a 17 gas. Keep making probes now until we get to 20. Now we have 16 probes in the mineral. We start rallying probes to the gas. Rally the next probe to the natural to make the nexus. At this point you are in the zerg base and you see what's going on. You just see a standard opening, so you just come back with the probe and you don't worry too much about what's going on. Now 20, you make a nexus. Now you cut probes and you wait for the cybercore. Cybercore. Now we make probes again. And we go for a 21 gas. Keep making probes. And now 22 pylon in the main base. Keep making probes. Cybercore is ready. Chrono boost the stalker. Don't get warp gate. Just wait until you have 150 gas and go Stargate. Keep making probes. Now Stargate. Get warp gate as soon as you can. Keep making probes. Chrono boost probes twice. Now we should have the money for a gateway in the wall. And now we also should have the money for a battery. Keep making probes. Wait for the Stargate to finish. Stargate is done. Chrono boost Oracle. Send the Oracle to the Zerg base. Now get double gas at the natural. Now the Oracle is done. Make a Phoenix and make a Pylon. Get your probes in the gas. Make another Pylon. Start saving Chrono Boost for the carrier. Try to harass a little bit with the Oracle, but send it to the third base because you want to defend it. Phoenix is ready, kill the Overlord with the Phoenix. Now around 4:12 we make Stargate and Fleet Beacon. We also make another Pylon. Now Warp Gate is done. We make 2 Zealots and we go towards the third base with the Zealots and the probe. We leave the Stalker in the wall. Now We can cut probes. And we wait for the Stargate to finish. Make a double carrier. Chronoboost both carriers. Make a pylon at the third base and take a Nexus. Make another pylon at the third. Now we can start making probes again. Make sure your Oracle is at the third base, ready to defend. Keep chronoboosting the carriers. Make a battery at the third base. Get a Twilight as well. Carriers should be ready about now. Make 2 more carriers. Send the carrier straight to the third base of the Zerg. Make another pylon. And chronoboost the carriers again. Make sure you fix your probes, start transferring probes to the new base, and fix your rally to the new base. Now, it all depends on what you see. If you see Hydras, keep making carriers up to 6. If you see Corruptors, run away and just focus on making more Templar and Chargelots and go for an easy kill. Alright, good luck and have fun.